I'm not sure what this guy is. He's kind of a blockhead. Anyway, today I go over loop tools. These little things here. Anyway, stay tuned. Welcome everyone, this is Kevin with Inventimart, and today I'm going to be going over loop tools. It's the option when you go into edit mode. Press tab. Actually, here, before I start, let me turn on the screen displays down here. And when you go into edit mode by pressing tab and you press W, you get a whole bunch of options here. The first one is loop tools, and I'm going to go over each one of these and show you kind of what they do. Some of them I really don't understand, to be honest, and I never use them, but I'll show you what they do kind of anyway. So the first one, I already made the cylinder here and I extracted the ends and made it go in a little bit. But this one basically just shows you the, I'm going to show you the bridge option. So the bridge option, you can select two different sides of an object, hit W, loop tools bridge, and it basically punches a hole in it. And it's kind of the same thing if you delete only the faces and then you're left with those there. I showed this in an earlier video, and loop tools bridge, and it does the same thing as if there was an actual face there. And I'll show you another option here. Bring another cube over. So one thing that I do quite often is give an object more subdivisions. I press W, subdivide. You see that there's a little S there, it means it's underscored. So if you press W, the menu pops up, and you press S again, it subdivides it. So WS, WS, it'll subdivide it however many times you want. Let's do one more time there. And so deselect them all. So with the bridge tool, you can select just a few over there, and say we want just these over here. Again, to select these, I'm using the C option, and you can have this little wheel here. Use the regular click or the middle mouse wheel to select or deselect. This is something I use all the time. Okay, so we got that there. We got both sides selected. Hit W, loop tools bridge, and it creates a hole through there. It's kind of like a hole punch tool, and I use that quite frequently, and it's one of the best options. It's actually easier to do that than a boolean a lot of the time. If you're just making a hole in an object, if you know the exact size that the hole needs to be, you can make the hole whatever size you need it to be. So that's the bridge tool. It's pretty simple, really, and you can do all kinds of stuff with that. And before we go into the next tool, I'm going to show you another thing that I do all the time, especially with big projects. If you have a lot of things on the screen and you're only wanting to work with one object, if you select that object and press H, it'll just hide that same one. And if you press Alt H, it unhides everything. But if you select that same object and press Shift H, it'll hide everything but that object. And so everything disappears except for the object we're going to be working with. So this is just a plain icosphere, and what I'm going to show you is the next loop tool, which is circle. So if this is in face select mode too, by the way. We got this vertex, line, and face. You can use whichever one you want. Actually, I use vertex most of the time. Anyway, so just imagine with this we're making like a tie rod end or something like that, and we want to make a shaft coming out of it. Instead of doing a boolean option, what we can do is just select kind of the similar area that we need, and then go to loop tools and hit circle, and it creates a circle out of those objects. Then you can basically just hit E and extract that. Then you have a tie rod end. It's just that simple, and you just manipulate it the rest of the way from there. But that's the circle tool. It's actually something I didn't know about until pretty recently, and I'll probably be using that one a lot more. And it works the same way on any object that you have. Like this cube here, I made this one and subdivided it. So if you just select however many you want, loop tool, circle, it'll create a circle in there. And you can go E and extract it, make it go in or out. Like if you're making a cup, you got that, you can bring it down, and there you go, you got another object with a hole in it. And that's that specific loop tool. Next one is the curve. This one's a little tricky. I really honestly don't understand it fully, but what it kind of does, let me just zoom there. It's kind of a weird tool. Not sure why it said that. But what it does is it makes a curve from this loop and all these other loops. If you just select like two things, it makes a curve for those two. You can change which percentage it is down here. Make it linear or make it cubic. I'm extrude only, but the only thing I really found that it does that's kind of cool is if you select all four. Actually, it's easier to go into Z mode. Okay. Having a little bit of difficulty for some odd reason. Okay, so we got the middle of each part of that selected. And do curve. And do indent. Kind of does all different sides. You make it rounded or otherwise, but you make it however much percent you want. And it does both indent and the extrude part of it. But it's a really weird tool. It's like if you just select two dots there, do curve, it makes it curved on the outside. It makes basically interpolates between the 2 points on a loop and turns it into a curve. It's kind of like the circle tool in that respect, but I don't know. Can't think of any real good uses for that. But as far as I know, that's what the curve tool does, and I really haven't been able to find many uses for it. The next tool is actually pretty cool. It's the flatten tool. Say you got all this here. And we need a flat spot on this sphere. We just go W, flatten, and it creates a perfectly flat spot. And so you can take that, and if you need it to be perfectly vertical, then you can go S, X on the X-axis, and then 0. It moves it to the center point of that. You can move that out. And they have a flat spot. If you just need these up here flat, do S or Z 0, makes those flat. That's something that I use quite a bit, is to get things even. Just select all the edge of an object. Then press S for the size tool, and it creates them all the same size. I don't know, but it works for that, and you can make a really nice edges with that. I'm going to try one of the other loop tools here. See if it'll work with this at all. See how it's kind of awkward? I'm just experimenting now. No, that didn't work with it. So I'm always trying things, see what works, see what doesn't work. That was the flatten tool. It's pretty cool. Works on all different types of objects like this. If you want to create a corner here, you just got to select which options you want, or where you want it, and do flatten. Basically creates a flat spot there. That works pretty cool. So the next tool is the G stretch tool. This one's another weird one that I never use, and there's certain times where I might be able to use it, but I'm gonna hide that one, Shift H, or hide the rest of them, just focus on this one. So this one uses the grease pencil. I've never talked about the grease pencil. It's useful for some things, but when you hold down D and just click the regular mouse button and drag the cursor, it draws a line. So like that. And what that does is just draws a line. And over here in the properties of the object, or this properties window, it has a grease pencil here. And you can create a new one, or just press D and then draw. It draws a grease pencil. And the next loop tool, what it does, it's kind of cool. It's a little bit weird, but this is just a plane that I subdivided. And so the loop tool, you select those edges, and what it does, G stretch, it moves everything to that line that you drew. And it will actually do that with multiple edges. So if we just select those, it'll move them to the line that you drew. See, this is useful for, like, if you're making letters and you're outlining something and you want it to be exact along the line. If you're good at hand drawing, or if you had one of those pads that you can draw on the computer with a touch pad or pencil or whatever. I wish I had one, but you could use that, and you could actually make really nice curves and stuff and get a good shape with that. But that's just something I never really use that, and I don't think I would really use it for much, but I'm sure there will be a time when I'll use it. But that's what that does. That's the G stretch. The next tool, which is kind of unique, it's pretty cool. Here I started out with a circle and I just made them different sizes. And the next tool is the Loft. And what it does is it joins all the different loops that you have and creates a shell of an object of that. Like if you had just a circle and you go into edit mode and just duplicate it, Shift D, and select the excuse me, select them all and press Loft, and it creates the object. And that's basically all that I really was able to find Loft. Loft actually does the same thing as the bridge tool, like with the cylinder. Here, I'll show you real quick. It's the let's go to edit mode. Extrude size 0.5. Extrude size 0.5. So if we go into face select mode, X and only faces, delete those faces, go back to vertex mode, select those. Loft does the same thing. And it actually would work with all kinds of different things. Like if you added a circle, it doesn't have to be exact or wherever perfectly lined up or anything like that. It just has to be whatever you have selected. See, that's the only two. I don't have this other one selected. It only works with what you have selected. So you can do that. But that made it actually inverted, so what you would want to do, since that's all selected now, you can either go over here to UV shading and flip direction to make it correct the way it's supposed to be, or you can just press W and flip the normals. That's basically the same command. And so anyway, that's what the Loft does. And for the next tool, this one's actually kind of cool. So right now I just have a plane that I deleted the face on, and the next tool is the relax tool. What I'm going to do with this is subdivide it a bunch of times. So WS a bunch of times, and see, it's a perfect square now. So if we go to this and relax, it kind of mellows everything out. And if you press Shift R, it repeats that. So that relax thing, keep pressing Shift R. If I keep doing it, it just relaxes it more and more and more. And just basically kind of makes it's kind of like an automatic smoothing tool. But yeah, just kind of lets them relax and lets them mellow out and be smooth. That's basically all that really does. Just makes things more even. And the last tool I'm going to show you here is the space tool. So right now I'm just kind of making these kind of different, and so if you can see these points, actually really delete that. So this is only one view, but so if you select them all, you see that they're all kind of, these ones are all grouped together. And if you want to have them all even, you just press W, loop tool, space, and it spaces them all out evenly across the shape. It kind of relaxes them a little bit and smooths it out a little bit, but it basically makes it so it's more even around the entire thing. That's what the space tool does. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had for today. It was just a quick overview of what the loop tools do. I'd say the one that I use the most would be the bridge and the actually, that bridge is the only one that I have been using, but I'll probably start using the circle and the flatten one more, and possibly the loft. But for the most part, I really don't use much of the other ones. But if you can find a use for them, they're actually quite useful, especially if it's something that you know exactly what the shape's going to be, and you can use the loft tool to kind of make if it's a cylinder type shape, because you can go just like do a cross section in one spot and move up from there and go from there. But anyway, that's it for today, and if you like this video, thumb it up. If you didn't, thumb it down. Doesn't matter to me. It's up to you. But thanks for watching. Have a good day.